Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of RPG Retro Reviews. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy retro RPGs, then please, if you haven't already, check out my other videos in this series. I'm captcorajus, and in this installment, we'll be reviewing the bona fide classic module, the Isle of Dread. Before we begin, there will be some spoilers in this module, and if you plan on playing it, you might want to stop watching now. Alright, still with me? Let's get started. The Isle of Dread was first published in 1981 when it was included in the Dave Cook edition of the Expert set. As such, along with Keep on the Borderlands, the Isle of Dread ranks as one of TSR's most widely distributed modules. This module marks the first appearance of the Capru and the Rakasta, as well as the first detailed information about the D&D known world, which would, years later, become known as the World of Mystara. The module details an island wilderness adventure loosely based on the movie King Kong, but certainly there were influences as well by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. It is also worthwhile to note that the Isle of Dread ranks as number 16 in Dungeon Magazine's 30 top modules of all time. One of the island's prominent features is the 3,000-foot high central plateau, which is capped by a dormant volcano. This adventure scenario is meant to be a teaching module for players and the DM on how to run wilderness adventures. There are two distinctive print versions of the module. The original is the solid blue cover that came with the Dave Cook version of the Expert set, and the red-orange cover that came with the Frank Menser version of the D&D Expert set. The later version has higher production values and more modern artwork. However, in this version, the Capru Temple area map is missing the outtake diagram. The diagram is a sketch showing how an arched passage leads under the face in the middle of the wall of the main chamber. This can add a bit of confusion, as it appears that the dungeon chambers are completely inaccessible. While the Isle of Dread was initially located in the world of Mystara, in more modern times the island has made its appearance in several different D&D campaign worlds. In issue number 114, Dungeon Magazine featured an update of the Isle of Dread, which was located in the Greyhawk setting, and a poster-style map of the island was made. The module itself is quite expansive and crams a lot of information in its 32 pages and details the mysterious Isle of Dread, originally located 1,000 miles south of the Duchy of Karamikos in the Thangoyth archipelago in the world of Mystara. Or, if one wishes to use the Dungeon Magazine 114 continuity, the Isle of Dread is located far south of the Densac Gulf. It is worthwhile to note that the D&D 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide places the Isle of Dread in the plane of water, though it mentions that the island has the ability to appear in the material plane. In any event, the adventure begins when the player characters get their hands on the mysterious 30-year-old ship's log of one Rory Barbarossa, detailing his attempts to uncover a lost city filled with ancient treasure. The log also speaks about cannibals, a great stone wall, and a friendly tribe on the southern peninsula called the Tenora. Motivated by tales of ancient riches waiting to be uncovered, the players embark on a 1,000-mile seaborne trek south, braving pirates and sea monsters till they reach the Isle of Dread, landing on one of the southern friendly villages. From there, the adventure becomes like a mini sandbox, as exploration on the island is totally at the whims of the players. The DM is encouraged to use the wilderness exploration rules from the Expert set, and a blank hex map is given for the players to chart their progress. The island interior is fraught with several perils, including cannibals, pirates, and prehistoric dinosaurs. The adventure then culminates in the exploration of the 3,000-foot high mesa at the center of the island, the mysterious temple that's there, its curious inhabitants called the Capru, and uncovering the strange secrets within. When considering running this adventure, there's certainly no reason why the original basic and expert rules sets couldn't be used. However, for a more modern rule set, the basic rules for Labyrinth Lord is appropriate, especially if you're doing a one-shot and you're looking for that retro feel. This module is easily converted to Castles and Crusades as well, and that rule set is great for those running this as part of an ongoing campaign. If you are more interested in using the current rules, the 5th edition rule set is also quite appropriate, and the conversion really only requires a few minor tweaks. In any event, the DM may want to alter some details of the module, primarily those regarding the player character's motivation for embarking on this adventure. Personally, I think the pirate angle is a great way to entice the PCs into the story. Perhaps they seek employment as crew on board a Navy ship from Keramikos to investigate the bothersome pirates who have been raiding trade vessels in the Sea of Dread for decades. This endeavor alone could make up several adventures as the PCs brave sea monsters and pirates, but ultimately track a pirate vessel as it makes its way to its home port at the Isle of Dread. Along the way, the ship's captain, one Rory Barbarossa, relays the information in the original ship's log from the module, perhaps over dinner in the captain's cabin over several days or weeks. Personally, I think that the PCs getting their information from the actually living and colorful adventurer and Captain Rory Barbarossa far more interesting. Perhaps the PCs intervene on his behalf in a tavern and save the captain from a wizard bent on his destruction, and Rory then invites them to crew his ship as they track down pirates and offers them a promise of rich reward. I would also perhaps shroud the island in mysterious mists that make accurate navigation to the island nearly impossible. The pirates, on the other hand, seem to have no problem navigating the treacherous waters around the island, and the reason for this is because their ship's helms are equipped with a magical wheel that allows them to navigate the dangers safely. Perhaps Rory Barbarossa has learned of these magical helms used by the pirates, and the recovery of one of them, so they can safely navigate the mists of the island, is an adventure unto itself. This scenario works better in the DM's favor for several reasons. It eliminates the greed-only motivation in the original story hook. It allows for the organic creation of the pirate NPC rival. It establishes a useful NPC ally, and it also gives a logical reason for the PCs to explore the interior of the island. Another change I would make is with the Kapru, especially. Essentially, they are a degenerate race stagnating on the central plateau and just want to be left alone in their ancient temple. To me, this seems like an opportunity to provide a climax to the adventure. The first thing I would do is give the temple a background. It wasn't built by the Kapru, so who built it? And the second thing I would do is put the Kapru to work, re-establishing some ancient, long-forgotten power, perhaps a demon. Of course, the PCs arrive just as the Kapru are reaching the culmination of their great plan, whatever that is. If using the difficult-to-navigate strange mist subplot described above, I would establish that it is the side effect of the work the Kapru have been doing. As has been stated earlier, there are 2 releases of the Isle of Dread. The 1981 version had cover art by Jeff D. and interior artwork by Earl Otis, Dave LaForce, and David Sutherland III. And the 1983 revision with the dinosaur attacking the player characters on the cover by Tim Truman. The interior artwork is by Bill Willingham, and much of the revision is of higher quality and goes very well with the improved layout and higher production values. Many reviewers like to point out the excessive randomness of the encounters and the seemingly incongruous nature of many of the island's inhabitants, such as the Rakasta and the mysterious intelligent spider race called the Arnea. And certainly these are valid points, but any DM worthy of the title can address these minor issues. To me, the key issue is to create an atmosphere of wonder and mystery about the island itself, and make it distinctive from the other things that the PCs might have encountered on the mainland. This is an island shrouded in mist that is lost in time and holds mysterious ancient secrets. And as long as the DM takes care to underscore these aspects, then the Isle of Dread will most certainly be remembered by the players as a fun and exciting adventure. Due to its widespread distribution as part of the packaging of the D&D Expert set, getting a copy of the Isle of Dread is relatively easy to do, and one can acquire this classic D&D module in good shape for as little as $3.50 plus shipping on eBay and Amazon. Given this, and the sheer volume of adventures packed into these 32 pages, there's no reason why a retro RPG hobbyist shouldn't add this to their collection. For additional print maps for the Isle of Dread, I would check out Pandius.com. Not only will you find helpful maps, but a wealth of resources for the world of Mystara. The link is in the comments section below. Well, I hope you found this retrospective RPG review of the classic module, the Isle of Dread, interesting and useful. Please come back for more in-depth retro reviews each week as I look back at the rich gaming history of Dungeons & Dragons, as well as useful videos such as my How to Play series on the 5th edition of the game. I also have some exciting news coming up in the next week or so, and more content. Please comment below with your suggestions and subscribe to be sure to catch all my updates. Thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, my friends, may your D20 roll true, and game on.